Brian Miller, the CEO of SK Gaming. In my role and capacity, some of the stuff I do is manage the operations of the companies in our portfolio. And currently we have Grey Wolf Peak, Quatucknuck Resort Casino, and then our Big Arm property, along with the marinas that we operate within the Polson area too, and at Big Arm. So we're a pretty diverse business offering. Anything in the general hospitality or gambling business segment is usually lumped into what we do. And so we're running either restaurants or gambling operations, anything in between those things on the hospitality and gambling side. So pretty diverse portfolio of business operations. And we have roughly we carry about 150 full-time equivalent employees year-round now, post-COVID. So a little bit of decline from that era, but we're pretty efficient operation and good at what we do, quite honestly. Corporate structure is SK Gaming LLC was formed in 2006, and they provided the tribal council through the articles of organization appoints 5 managing members who are appointed by the tribal council, and they actually, the shareholders in this case, are the 10 currently elected members of the tribal council. And so SK Gaming LLC, myself, I report to the 5 members of the board, and then the board reports to the shareholders specifically as they sit shareholders. And the tribe does a really good distinction between acting as a shareholder and acting as the tribal council. We meet in shareholders meetings to discuss elements of the business specifically, and then they have directives that the shareholders may provide the board and myself to actually execute. We work in reporting through both a mid-year process and our operating agreement requires us to provide quarterly updates to the council. And so we provide monthly financial information to the council to give them an update on the financial state of the company, as well as meet with them frequently enough to discuss our future business plans as well as our current operations. SK Gaming doesn't operate under a Class 3 compact with the state of Montana, and so we operate under the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act as a Class 2 business, and that allows the tribe to exert exclusive jurisdiction or concurrent jurisdiction with the NIDC, but the tribes are the primary regulators of our business operations, and we operate Class 2 gaming. So we have bingo machines with electronic aids that really mimic great entertainment value that you provide. But the compact was, I believe it elapsed in 2006, and so it hasn't been, since that time, the tribes have operated these Class 2 businesses, and we've evolved through the time. But our business is really shaped off of the electronic aids as they apply to bingo, and you see these machines that we have today are really great entertainment value. So Grey Wolf Peak Casino is our newest overall property that we built. We built that one from the ground up. Construction finished in 2016, and we operate at that property what is the largest gaming operation in the state of Montana by the number of machines that we operate. It's about 34,000 square feet, and it features 339 gaming machines. We just recently remodeled an area for a sports bar, and then we have 2 golf simulators that we have installed down there too. So we have a little bit of entertainment value for everybody. Our sports bar is probably would incorporate a lot of family stuff, so you don't have to go there just to drink, but you could watch TV, you could play pool, you could play darts. So there's a little bit of ancillary entertainment there. The building itself can probably hold another 50 machines and expand out a little bit further under our current footprint. So Big Arm we leased from the tribes in 2015, and it really had a restaurant and some old cabins, old RVs. And we've taken that property now And what we've developed is we renovated out the restaurant and updated it. And then we've taken the RV spots that we have, and we are actually able to provide a clean slate and expand that out to 30 RV stalls. And then we have 20 cabins units available for rental. So the cabins come in a mixture of either a single queen size unit or a family cabin up there that has could sleep 6, and it has the stove and countertop so you could cook up there. So between the restaurant and then expanding out the cabins and the RVs, we completed those projects in probably 2019 and been able to expand our overall business. And then just last year in 2021, we were able to install 40 machines at the time, and we're down to 33 functioning machines now in a casino that was already on the property. Again, a Class 2 business. But what that does is it really creates a great ecosystem environment. So if the gambler can go to the property and and stay there at one of our cabins or an RV spot, can have the ability to eat some of the food that we offer, and then we have the entertainment that we offer from the gaming side too. So it's a great ecosystem from a hospitality standpoint overall. Let me talk about the financial growth of SNK Gaming. It's in the last year, and fiscal year 2021, and then continuing to fiscal year 2022, SNK Gaming has seen substantial financial growth of overall business segments, excluding the conferencing side of it. We have we're about a $33 million company today in gross revenues, and we project to continue to increase that in this next fiscal year. And if some of our future projects come online in the next couple of years, we'll see substantial increases when they do come online. Uniquely, SNK Gaming is required by the Tribe's Ordinance 92D to provide a minimum of 60% of our net income has to go back to the tribes in the form of dividend payment. So once we audit our financial statements from a third party, we will provide declare our dividend and provide that back to the tribes. In this last fiscal year, we just completed paying the tribe $6.8 million for our dividend. And looking at some of the opportunities for job placement and future growth and upward mobility within our company, I think it's easy to take an opportunity that we might have that's probably less than desirable. For instance, it could be a slot floor worker. As an entry-level position, we provide the opportunities and on-the-job training in that specific field for our employees, and we provide different layers within the organization to provide them the experience that they may need or that they may not have. For instance, a slot, the natural transition from a slot line level employee would be to move to a dual rate, where they would experience some of the supervisory responsibilities and on a very couple days a week through that process, and then also still maintain their regular line employee. And then through that experience, it's actually a controlled environment because they aren't set up to just jump into the position head first. They're actually slowly, taking on 2 days role or 3 days, someone's days off, and then being able to ask questions, and then, we provide them the answers and provide them the opportunities to continue to move forward and develop themselves personally and professionally. But from there, they could take that dual rate position that they've had a couple days exposure a week, and then move towards a slot supervisor, where they're doing it full time. So they're taking on all the roles and responsibilities of the slot supervisor, and really taking what they've learned through their experience and moving that one forward. So our company provides a great tuition reimbursement program, and we found through really looking within our company to identify how many of our employees had post-secondary educations, and really trying to understand that that's going to be paramount to them continuing to move forward and ascend through the organization, is to build a real credible employee, and a degree usually helps that. So we provide tuition reimbursement for our employees through our program, and what they do is they enroll in their college of choice and pay, but assuming that they get a C or better average, we'll reimburse them at the end of their semester or quarter, whatever it is. And so we do that up to the IRS maximum reimbursement allowance. I think it's a great program, a great opportunity. We currently have a few of our employees who are actually enrolled in that program, and so I think I know those ones individually, and I see them and see probably the confidence that the education's provided them in their skills, and I'm really proud to be able to do that. So in the next 3 to 5 years, some of the elements that we envision at Gray Wolf, and it might be a little bit outside that one, is probably more on the 5-year minimum time frame. Gray Wolf was intentionally built to allow for a hotel expansion on the backside of the building, and we would just stack up to 4 or 5 more floors on that backside, and it's structurally fit to do that. And so adding a hotel is a great next step. We're in the process today of trying to acquire a little bit more land to expand our RV stalls that we have down there. Currently we offer RVs that we provide the electrical service out there, so it's really a dry sense, but we need to provide the wet side of it. And so if we could expand the RV section and we would include what we have currently, we believe it's going to be a great transition and really complement the overall business down there. So in the next 5-year window, or depending on where we're at with some of our other ambitious projects, we'd like to see a hotel being built at Gray Wolf, and then certainly these RVs I think are within reach of what we're doing even outside of that. You know, in terms of what we want to do at Big Arm in the next 3 to 5 years, we've fairly maximized the utilization of the existing lease that we have, which is roughly 5 acres. And so everything you see there is either going to be on, it has all we could do with it. Now, if we expand our water and sewer capabilities up at Big Arm, I think there's an opportunity to add an event center up there that might be able to house different events. If you look around the lake, there's different venues that are probably very picturesque in terms of settings, and I think Big Arm rivals them all. It's very tranquil up there, and so that's probably the biggest expansion that we could move into the next era up there. And then just we really want to focus on our operational efficiencies and make Big Arm a positive contributor to SNK Gaming. So looking at now Quatucknuck and trying to describe what we might be doing in the next 3 to 5 years, I think it's by far our most ambitious goals are focused here in developing the Paulson area. Part of what we see right now is Quatucknuck's actually a 30-year-old building. It's very nice for its age, but internally we know that there's some issues that we have to always overcome with some of the overall infrastructure of the property. So facing those daily challenges, what we have is an opportunity now to build a new property, which is Paulson West, a couple miles up the road, still within the Paulson community. And it's on a 79-acre tract that the tribes own, right adjacent to the airport and the KOA, so right in that area. We want to lease 10 acres of that property and develop a casino with future expansion possibilities. But within the next 3 to 5 years, and certainly probably even before that, we intend on building a casino that's going to house not just a casino, but all of our administrative functions within S&K Gaming. We're going to move those out there, and so there'll be some synergy that we'll see just from simply putting us all under one roof from an administrative side. Currently, we probably have 2 more outlying offices here in the Paulson area that we either lease or own, that we'd like to take our employees and move them out to this new casino. But that new casino is probably going to be about 28,000 square feet overall. We're going to start off with 300 machines, and by comparison, we have 227 machines here today. And what that's going to do is it's going to provide us a new platform for probably the next 30 years, and it's going to create expandability options and opportunities on that property. There's a lot of restrictions here. Mostly it's, besides the building itself, it's got to be parking is their secondary restriction. Even if we could build at this location, quite honestly, there's just not enough parking available without building something that would be pretty just a very big parking structure is all I can envision to overcome what you would need to actually build the right size here. But that casino, will give us a brand new start. It'll allow a couple different expansions that we think are going to be beneficial to that. And one is a 500 seat event center. So it'd be one of the bigger event centers that the Paulson, or bigger event centers between Missoula and Kalispell. And so that'll allow us to do all kinds of events, whether we're hosting them internally or we bring them in from an outside source. And then there's enough room on that same 10-acre tract for us to build a hotel should the Paulson area actually have the demand for additional hotel rooms. And our hotel business has grown, even now post-COVID. It's grown significantly over the last couple of years. So there's a potential that in the future we might need that hotel. And when we tie those 3 together, we're putting a lot of people in a location where we're providing the entertainment value that I think, and we're able to keep them there on track. As soon as we build that property, though, we would come back and turn here at the Quatucknuck, and we would try to add in complementary amenities that really reflect on the resort atmosphere. And so we're still developing those, but right now some of the immediate stuff that comes to mind would be a spa, massage opportunities, even a salon, to a certain degree. So all those things are really what today's resorts are known for, and we just don't have the room to do it. But once we move the casino out, we get about several thousand more square feet to actually add those amenities back here and reinvest in this property. So we think it's a great opportunity to clear out the smoke from here to really focus this on a resort style property. Some of the obstacles that we have, we've seen with this new construction, and you really see some issues crop up with any kind of construction. But S&K Gaming really wants to would enjoy the annexation of the 79-acre tract into the city of Paulson, so we could get access to the wet utilities provided by the city of Paulson. when we do that, it will do a couple things. It will ensure that there's safe water out to the facility, and that the sewer part of the aspect of that actually can go to the city, and the city can treat that sewer, rather than SNK Gaming are trying to develop those utilities on our own within that same property tract. So tremendous amount of benefit to connect the city utilities that are already there. I think, at least it's my belief, the city has the capacity to provide both the wet utilities. And so the annexation, I think there was a lot of concerns within the community about the tribe building a second casino or some kind of restrictions, and those really just prove false. What we're trying to do is move our existing operations into a new facility, and that new facility has a bunch of life on it still. Probably the only point that I tend to agree with is that the city of Paulson has traffic issues today. I don't think those traffic issues are amplified by us developing that property. What SK Gaming is committed to do is to mitigate the impacts that the development will have in that intersection of the build. But we're not prepared to really deal with the bigger Paulson traffic issues. I think those are for the local governments to really hash out, and the state of Montana and the tribes as partners to come to the table and figure out how to address really bigger problems than a single development. So we are hopeful the annexation will go through in the near future, although I don't know that there's any timeline on it today, because the city tabled the annexation vote until a further date without having set a further date. So some of the public perception and our challenges that we have as a company is, we run a very visible company. I mean, people actually come to our properties, and most of them, quite honestly, come with the intent of engaging in the entertainment or staying in one of our properties. Some people, come here for other reasons. So we are challenged to really deal with vagrancies, drug issues, and to some degree the alcohol issues that we have within the community. So we face those challenges. I think SNK Gaming has a full-time security department that's staffed by a number of employees at all of our two casinos to provide that a safer environment. But also, these individuals aren't law enforcement or aren't commissioned people. So really, we leave that to the experts to deal with the law side of it. And our team is really engaged in trying to make our current environment as safe as possible, to identify any people who might be offenders or undesirable individuals, and to really move them to not come to our properties. So throughout the years, though, we've developed a very comprehensive barring and ejection policy. And unfortunately, we've had to bar a number of people, and some of them are permanently barred from our property for offenses such as theft or drug-related issues. And so, we take those things serious, and we really try to work through them. But I think, again, that problem is bigger than just any of our properties. These are also community issues that have to be resolved on a bigger level.